How's it going, everyone? There's been some sad news. Recently, Friendly Jordies has had to stand down from the recent stuff he's dealt with when it comes to the government of Australia and when it comes to a crime syndicate that's been after him. Friendly Jordies is someone who has researched the corruption of the Australian government for quite some time now, and the Australian government's been trying to silence him. They don't like what he's been doing. One guy that worked in the police department, I think, tried to sue him, but couldn't, so went after Google. Won the lawsuit, apparently, which is a shocker. But that's all they can do. And, Google getting sued might not go well for Friendly Jordies anyways, because they're going to view and see the reason that he was sued was because of the whole thing. Now, as sad as that could be, it got worse, because at one point his house got burnt down, and likely from the said crime syndicate that's been sending him death threats and forced them to stand down now.
Obviously, we've done some extremely dangerous reporting over the last year, I suppose, of a bunch of extremely powerful people and corporations. There is many people that would want to do that. I obviously can't say who I suspect it is, but I do have like a short list in my head of who I think would have done it. I would hope that the New South Wales strike force that is supposedly set up for fixated people and terrorists would be looking into this instead of a comedian and his team for 6 months straight at the whim of a previous premier that all of you defended for his last 10 years, and then when he came out, and even after all the New York stuff, you're still sitting there defending him now. I saw all of your articles today where you all wrote all of the same little narrative that you write every time. I would hope that you would put just as much attention on the fact that that happened as you have on trying to assassinate my character over the last year. Thanks for your time.
Did something happen here a week ago, Jordan?
The reason the authorities aren't doing anything about this, of course, because the authorities apparently had a suspect, but the suspect was let go or something like that. But the reason this whole thing is the case is because, the government doesn't like Friendly Jordies and are willing to not help them. Not to mention, this crime syndicate is a very powerful crime syndicate that, the government was too afraid to go against. But he made a video stating him stepping down on this situation, and we'll look into that video.
You might have noticed that we haven't been releasing videos after the police arrested a suspect for the firebombing of my house. While we're very grateful for their persistence throughout this ordeal, we felt it would be prudent to see what the response would be from certain individual.
Now, right here, it's clear that this entire thing was professionally put, whether it was from lawyers or, anything like that. This video was professionally put to be as respectful and, not as vindictive. As the thing with Friendly Jordies, he would commonly joke with lawyers and stuff like that, like he would get sued, or, well, not sued, but attempted to get sued. And the problem with it was, in order in Australia for you to actually truly get sued, you need to be handed the papers and you need to accept the papers. And he wouldn't carry the papers or pick up the papers or grab the papers at all. And so the fact that he would never do that means they couldn't sue him, because he wasn't accepting the suit. Like, there was a video that was that when it first started, that he basically pretended to be an old grandpa or something like that in his house, and he would just speak manic things towards the lawyer that was at his house to deliver the papers, and eventually the lawyer just dropped the papers down on the front of his house, because he was like, he's not picking these papers up, there's no point.
Hello!
Oh, I'm trying to see Jordan.
You're done!
You're Jordan? Oh, okay.
I know you're done!
Yeah.
This is the house owner!
Pardon?
House owner! My name, Mr. No Police!
Yeah, there.
This is not Jordan! Jordan live here,
Okay.
but he not here! and you're just excusing. Come back. You seem like a nice man. I have some lemons for you.
Their response has been one of rather perplexing confidence. Buoyed by the lack of further arrests, they have decided to be much more blunt with their requests, threatening anyone they believe had handed over information to assist with the creation of the video coronation. This video detailed links former Deputy Premier John Barilaro had with development company Coronation Property. The video encompassed more than Coronation Property Associates. It included an array of spirited characters, many of whom were enraged with its release. Police have made it very clear that many of the prime suspects in the firebombing are in that video.
It does really suck that the situation is undergoing, especially since it basically he's lost. And it amazes me that a government could just let this stand by simply because they are corrupted themselves, and instead of just changing because it's not beneficial for them to change, they're going to keep being corrupted because it's easier for them to be corrupted than to just be natural, be, a proper, good government to protect your people. And I quite honestly, as much as I don't want to make theories, I feel the government did send this crime syndicate after Friendly Jordies just so to silence him from trying to call it this corruption. But that's just a theory, all right? I'm not making a joke there. That is literally just a theory. And so I can't say that it's 100% fact or true, but you get what I mean.
Now, over a year later, these figures are once again venting, threatening dire consequences if the video isn't taken down. Given these people's colourful history, we don't consider these to be idle threats. Naturally, we contacted the appropriate authorities, but it appears these men have engulfed the state in a state of fear. It appears these men are indeed above the law. It appears these men are free to point the scythe at anyone they wish, blackmail them with the most heinous, violent acts imaginable, and there is not an authority in the land powerful enough, or perhaps foolhardy enough, to check them. We have done our absolute best to keep the video up. Believe me, we have. But if the content of Coronation is to fall on willfully deaf ears, if its only tangible result is the death of innocent people, we will not have their lives hang on our conscience. In other words, you win.
A lot of this here you can see is not just him being threatened here. There's probably a lot of other people being threatened in the situation, and simply just because they want to silence him. It's amazing how that is where this whole situation has went when it came to just calling out simple corruption, and it was just a YouTuber doing this, to now the government trying to take it so far that it's now risked lives because they just want to feel powerful and beat the little guy. It's sad that this situation isn't the hero wins or anything like that. This situation quite clearly is. There is no other option. Friendly Jordies is just not powerful enough for anyone to actually, or for him to actually cause true change. But the sad fact is that when you're dealing with the government, it doesn't matter. The government is stronger, and it will always be stronger. It sucks that that's the case, and as much as you wish it wasn't, unless you're some rich and powerful person that can make a change, there's not much you can really do. And rich and powerful people are usually the ones that are likely never going to make a change, because they became rich and powerful for a reason.
We're taking down the video. Congratulations, you run this city. We were ignorant of the fact that Sydney is more or less 1920 Chicago, but now that we're fully aware, you are free to run your business without further bother from us. Sorry for the inconvenience. The real shame in all of this, of course, is that it would have made a great story for self-proclaimed home of Australian investigative journalism Four Corners that touts that it exists to serve the public interest. And you, of course. It would be very interesting to hear the editorial rationale for why the paralysing grip that organised crime has over the First State didn't meet that criteria, while trying to get to the bottom of why there isn't more homosexual AFL players did. Questions for another time, perhaps. The question for now, though, is how did these men accumulate so much power that they have incapacitated any of the so-called estates from acting on matters that question its own ascendancy? This is not thugs killing other thugs for territory. This is unlawful punishment for reporting on the erosion of state authority. You would think that that would interest the state for self-preservation purposes, if nothing else, and yet it doesn't. As such, if the policy is to let sleeping dogs lie, so be it. We can live with that. In fact, we have no choice. We've learned that there is a currency that is far more dependable than the dollar, and that's terror. We can take solace in the fact that we did our part, more than we will ever be able to publicly divulge. We ran out onto no man's land without any support. And support never came. Statement from Friendly Geordies.
It definitely, this whole video is probably was set up and built up for legal purposes. You know, I feel like the lawyers were involved in making this video because it's clear he isn't at all making this video just to just by himself, because when it comes to him, he usually likes to make fun, or he usually tries to antagonize, right? Because he won't stand down, but this is him standing down completely. Now, he's not quitting YouTube. There were some people saying he was quitting YouTube, pyrocynical, but he has, he has made his stance on the situation of quitting this specific topic and talking about this for the safety of him and the safety of others. But that's about it.